Jack Turner, a struggling third-generation dairy farmer in Wisconsin, walks into his barn at dawn after a violent thunderstorm. His prize cow Bella has just given birth, but instead of calves, he sees a horrifying mass of rubber balls, tangled hoses, children's toys, and what appears to be an entire pink lawn flamingo. Jack screams, convinced Bella is dying. Then the veterinarian arrives and starts laughing harder than she has in years. The morning mist hung low over the rolling hills of rural Wisconsin. Jack Turner stood on his porch, coffee steaming in his weathered hands, watching the sun struggle to break through the gray. This was his land, his father's land, his grandfather's land before that. 80 acres of dairy farm that had survived drought, recession, and heartbreak. But lately, Jack wasn't sure it could survive him. 2 years had passed since his father's funeral. The old man had left behind unpaid loans, aging equipment, and a mortgage that grew heavier with every season. Jack's wife, Sarah, worked double shifts at the county hospital to keep the lights on. Their daughter, Emma, was 17 now, dreaming of college. Jack loved watching her flip through university brochures. He just wasn't sure he could make those dreams come true. But there was one hope, one gentle golden hope grazing quietly in the south pasture. Her name was Bella. Jack had raised the Guernsey cow from a calf, bottle feeding her through her first winter. She had grown into the finest animal on the farm, and now Bella was pregnant. The local veterinarian, Dr. Grace Miller, had confirmed she was carrying multiple calves. A successful birth could bring in enough money to cover the next mortgage payment. But something wasn't right. Over the past several months, Bella had been acting strangely. She wandered into odd corners of the property. She ignored her feed for hours, and she was growing unusually large, even for a cow carrying twins. Jack noticed other things too. Random items kept disappearing around the farm. Rubber balls from the old tire swing, garden gloves, a length of hose. Even Emma's old yellow rain boots vanished from the mudroom. Jack blamed raccoons. When Dr. Miller examined Bella, she suspected twins, possibly triplets. But the ultrasound was inconclusive. The images were shadowy and strange. Even the veterinarian, who had seen everything in 30 years, seemed puzzled. The days passed slowly. Jack found himself checking on Bella more often than necessary, standing outside her stall at odd hours. She seemed calm enough, but Jack couldn't shake the feeling that something was building. Then came the storm. It rolled in the night before Bella's due date, a violent thunderstorm that rattled the windows and sent the animals into restless panic. Jack barely slept, trudging through mud every few hours to check on Bella. By dawn, the storm had passed, leaving the farm draped in thick mist. Jack made one last trip to the barn. He pushed open the heavy wooden door. The air inside was warm and still. Pale light filtered through dusty windows, casting long shadows across the floor. Jack stepped toward Bella's stall and froze. Bella was lying on her side, clearly post-birth. But where calves should have been, there was something else entirely. A mass of color and texture that made no sense. Rubber balls, tangled hoses, children's toys, plastic flowers. And rising from the center of it all was an entire pink lawn flamingo. Jack stumbled backward, his chest tightened. For a terrible moment, he was certain Bella had died, that some massive tumor had exploded from her body, that everything he had hoped for had been taken in a single horrifying instant. He screamed. Sarah came running from the house. Emma was right behind her, phone already pressed to her ear, calling Dr. Miller. Jack couldn't speak. He could only point at the stall, his hands trembling. The veterinarian arrived within 20 minutes. She rushed inside, prepared for the worst. She took one look at the pile of objects, at Jack's pale face, at the absurdity of it all. And she started laughing. She laughed so hard she had to sit down on a hay bale. Jack stared at her, bewildered, certain he was losing his mind. Dr. Miller finally caught her breath and explained. Bella had pica, a condition that causes animals to eat non-food items. For months, Bella had been collecting and consuming random objects. The rubber balls, the garden gloves, the hose, Emma's rain boots, the flamingo. All of it had been sitting in Bella's stomach until the pressure of labor pushed everything out. Dr. Miller knelt beside the pile and began carefully moving objects aside. And there, hidden beneath the debris, were 4 perfectly healthy calves, 3 heifers and 1 bull, all strong, all already trying to nurse. Jack collapsed to his knees, not from despair but from relief so overwhelming it felt like breaking open. Sarah wrapped her arms around him. Emma laughed and cried at the same time, snapping photos on her phone. Bella lifted her head and looked at Jack with gentle eyes, as if she'd known all along everything would be fine. The calves thrived. Jack named them Hope, Grace, Faith, and Walter, after his father. But the story didn't end there. Emma posted the photos online as a joke. The images went viral. Within 48 hours, the post had been shared tens of thousands of times. Then came an unexpected phone call. Margaret Ashworth, an eccentric art collector from Chicago, drove 6 hours to the farm. She studied the objects still arranged in a corner of the barn, then made an offer. $50,000. She called it a profound commentary on agricultural America. Jack didn't fully understand, but he understood $50,000. The sale saved the farm. Jack paid off the mortgage and bought new equipment. Sarah cut back to regular shifts. Emma's college fund finally had something in it. Bella became a local celebrity. Jack built a small gallery in the barn, welcoming visitors who wanted to experience something unusual. Every spring now, people return, wondering what Bella might create next. Sometimes when the mist hangs low and the sun is just beginning to rise, Jack stands at the fence and watches Bella graze. He thinks about his father, about the land, about all the ways a life can surprise you. He had expected disaster that morning. What he found instead was a second chance. Sometimes the things we fear most turn out to be strange blessings in disguise. Hope can be buried beneath the strangest circumstances and still find its way into the light. What unexpected gift might be waiting in your own life, hidden just beneath the surface?